What if I told you that one of the greatest wealth builders in history lived more than 4,000 years ago? Long before the stock market and banks. Before modern business, there was a man who accumulated extraordinary wealth. Livestock. Silver. Gold. Land. Influence. His name was Abraham. But here is what most people fail to notice. Abraham's true wealth wasn't material. It was psychological, behavioral, and spiritual. Because true wealth isn't built just with money. It is built with decisions, discipline, patience, and vision. With the ability to trust a process even before the results show up. That is exactly why Abraham remains so relevant in the modern world. Today, millions of people make money but remain trapped. Trapped by fear. By impulsive decisions. By emotional spending. Trapped by short-term thinking. They chase more income but ignore the mindset needed to build lasting wealth. Abraham understood something that most people still don't grasp. Money flows toward trust, discipline, and long-term vision. And in this video, we are going to explore the psychology behind Abraham's wealth. And understand why his mindset is perhaps more valuable today than ever. Most people live in pursuit of immediate gratification. They want the reward now. Spend now. Consume now. Enjoy now. In modern behavioral finance, this is called the present bias. It is our natural tendency to prioritize immediate pleasure over future gains. The problem is that this bias silently destroys wealth. Abraham operated differently. When God called him to leave his land, he had to abandon certainty. Abandon familiarity, comfort, and immediate security. He left without knowing exactly where he was going. Think about that. Psychologically, this is extraordinary. Most people need guarantees before they act. Abraham acted before the guarantees. This reveals one of the most powerful traits for building wealth. Long-term conviction. He accepted short-term uncertainty in exchange for a long-term promise. That is exactly how investors, entrepreneurs, and wealth builders operate. The farmer plants and waits. The investor buys assets and waits. The disciplined person sacrifices today to harvest tomorrow. Abraham understood the power of delayed gratification at a level that few ever reach. And that mindset changes everything. A scarcity mindset is one of the biggest financial traps in the world. When people think from a place of scarcity, they become emotional. They panic. They act in a rush. They hoard out of fear. They make irrational decisions. Fear breeds bad decisions. Abraham demonstrated the exact opposite, an abundance mindset. One of the clearest examples appears in his conflict with Lot. Their possessions had grown so much that the land could no longer support both groups together. Tension rose. Conflict seemed inevitable. At that moment, Abraham held the upper hand. He could have demanded the best land. But he did something surprising. He gave Lot the right to choose first. Why? Because Abraham's trust wasn't in the land. It was in God. He understood something powerful. People with an abundance mindset are not afraid of temporary disadvantages. They know that opportunities can always be created again. Scarcity says, there isn't enough. Abundance says, there is more ahead. This psychological difference completely changes how someone invests, negotiates, and builds wealth. Many people believe that wealth is built on luck. Sometimes, luck helps. But sustainable wealth normally follows a structure. Abraham was disciplined. He managed people, resources, travels, and risks. He wasn't just rich. He was organized. Behavioral finance shows time and again that discipline beats intelligence in the long run. You don't need an extraordinary IQ to build wealth. You need consistency. Consistency to save. To invest. To make good decisions. Small, disciplined decisions, repeated over years, generate massive results. Abraham lived by this principle. He understood what responsible stewardship means. And this is one of the most underrated concepts in wealth building. If you cannot manage small resources well, large resources will become dangerous in your hands. Money amplifies behavior. If your behavior is chaotic, more money will bring you more chaos. If your behavior is disciplined, more money will multiply your good results. There is something few people understand. Most want prosperity, but almost no one wants to develop the mindset required to sustain it. And that is exactly why so few build lasting wealth. If this kind of content connects with you, subscribe to the Money Saga channel. Here, we explore the psychology of wealth, behavioral finance, and the timeless principles that shape great legacy builders. Now, let's move on, because Abraham's next lesson might be the most important of all. One of the greatest financial advantages anyone can have is emotional control. Markets go up. Markets go down. Fear spreads. So does greed. Most people lose money not because they lack knowledge, but because emotions hijack their decisions. Behavioral economists have studied this for decades. Fear and greed dominate financial behavior. Abraham demonstrated an uncommon emotional stability. He faced uncertainty, famine, conflicts, wars, and long periods of waiting. Even so, he kept moving forward with resilience. He didn't let temporary circumstances dictate permanent decisions. This matters because impulsive reactions destroy wealth. Panic selling, impulse spending, emotional investing. These behaviors come at a high cost. Calm thinking is profitable. And Abraham embodied that. Perhaps this is the most important lesson of all. Abraham's wealth didn't start with possessions. It started with trust. Trust in God. That trust completely changed his relationship with risk. Most people make financial decisions out of anxiety. They ask, what if everything goes wrong? Fear dominates their thoughts. Abraham asked a different question, what if I remain faithful, disciplined, and constant? This changes everything. Trust reduces emotional noise. It creates clarity. And clarity improves decisions. This doesn't mean ignoring wisdom or strategy. It means operating with faith instead of fear. According to the Bible, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is something that goes beyond the natural. Fear limits vision. Faith expands horizons. This applies to business, to investments, and above all, to life. Most people believe that generational wealth begins with money. It doesn't. It begins with beliefs, values, and principles. Abraham's legacy wasn't just wealth. It was an inheritance of mindset, vision, faith, discipline, trust, and responsibility. That is what generated a lasting impact. Money without wisdom disappears quickly. But wisdom can build and rebuild wealth time and time again. We can even say that nothing is impossible when you believe with wisdom. Perhaps that is the greatest financial lesson Abraham teaches us. The true asset is not money. The true asset is the mind that knows how to create, protect, and multiply value. Abraham became wealthy in livestock, land, silver, and gold. But his deepest wealth was invisible. His mindset, his discipline, his emotional control, and his trust in God. And this leads us to an extremely important question. What kind of financial mindset are you building? One driven by fear? Or one built on discipline, patience, and vision? Because wealth is very rarely built overnight. It is built decision by decision. Day after day. Choice after choice. It is a constant accumulation of various factors. Abraham understood that a man's true wealth does not lie in the amount of material goods he possesses. That is just a consequence, as we explained before. It lies in who you become along the journey. And perhaps that is the real secret. Not just acquiring more, but becoming wiser, stronger, better prepared to carry wealth with responsibility. Because money in the wrong hands disappears. But in the right hands, it builds a legacy. And Abraham was old, and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things.